Ashley, let's go to the hotline, and let's bring in the head coach of one of the teams, one of the 704 teams who will take part in the Texas High School Football Playoffs this weekend. We are joined by the head coach of the San Antonio Burbank Bulldogs. It is Coach Phil Barron. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Excellent. How are things in beautiful San Antonio?
Just trying to get acclimated to this cold and rainy weather right now. But, everybody's kind of excited about what's fixing to take place tomorrow and about the Burbank Bulldogs being in the playoffs.
You guys, San Antonio Burbank, you guys are in the playoffs for just the 10th time in program history. This is a program that's been around for more than 80 years. Do you get the sense around school that there's a buzz in the air about the Bulldogs playing some playoff football?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the community and the administration, the faculty here at Burbank, the kids, everybody's super excited about the accomplishment that our kids have done, because it hasn't happened very often here at Burbank. So definitely the atmosphere and the environment here at Burbank is pretty neat to be around.
You guys went into last week, and we say that you guys are playing a playoff game. I mean, you guys were playing a playoff game last week. You guys took on Lanier in a win-and-in game. You guys end up mounting a 10-play, 86-yard drive and score in the final minute to win 28-27. What did you learn about your team last week? This was a team that lost 3 straight. It felt like things for other programs that may have been a sign that things were floundering. What do you think you learned about your team last week?
I think we learned that we can persevere through things. We stared adversity directly in the eyes Saturday, and we're able to overcome it. And we kind of preach to our kids that the game of football is a direct correlation of life, and there's going to be peaks and valleys. And it's not how you react, but how you respond. Because you react to something, it may be off of emotion, and so we kind of preach, how do you respond to that? And I think our kids responded well. We went down 13 points and 2 touchdowns with 6 minutes left in the game. They missed the extra point, and we kind of saw some life, with the extra point being missed. So we knew we had to score fast, and that was kind of the mentality. We rallied the troops and just told, hey, we got to get in the end zone. So we ended up getting in the end zone with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, and it was 21-27, I believe. Yeah, 21-27. And I told my defensive coordinator, I said, hey, man, I got 3 timeouts. If you give me a stop, we'll win this football game. And he kind of looked at me, gave me the head nod, and, our defense rose to the occasion. And we did 3 and out, went 3 and out, and we're able to get the ball back with about 2 minutes left. And our quarterback was down. He had just thrown an interception for a touchdown, 2 series before. So he was kind of down, and I just kind of grabbed him and said, hey, man, we need you right now. Your brothers need you. The team needs you. You need to get us in the end zone. And so we got the ball right around the 10-yard line, and we're able to put together kind of like a miraculous drive with no timeouts, and did some things to get out of bounds. And
wow.
And we're able to throw that little fade ball in the end zone when our senior receiver Juan Rubiola came down with it to tie the ball game. So it kind of went crazy. And in the back of my mind, I'm kind of like, we just tied it. We haven't won it yet. We still got to kick the extra point. And so we line up for the extra point. And we have a freshman kicker. He's 14 years old.
Oh, my God.
And, yeah, so you're talking about pressure. So a 14-year-old freshman kicker goes out there and puts it through the uprights, and then it was time to celebrate. So it's kind of one of those things.
I knew about the drive. I didn't know about the freshman kicker. I didn't know about the no timeouts. That's pretty remarkable. And you guys, last year you guys went 6-4, same regular season record, but got left out on a tiebreaker of the playoffs. How much has that, and the way that last year ended prematurely, let's say, how has that fueled you guys throughout the course of the off season and through the season?
Well, that's where we went into the off season preaching. Don't forget what happened last year. Remember last year, and that's what we kind of thought, was going to be kind of the anchor during the off season to push us over the hump, is to not forget what happened to us last year. We beat Sam Houston for the first time in 30 years to go 6-4, and we had to beat them by 8 points. We beat them by 6. So it was kind of a dagger in the heart for our kids, for the community, for everybody that was involved. So, I think it played a huge factor in our off-season production that we had, because we didn't want to go through that same scenario, So it was kind of a control your own destiny type deal, with the kids and with my staff.
We're talking with Phil Barron, the head coach of the San Antonio Burbank Bulldogs here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. Coach, one of the guys who's really, I would say, the bell cow of your offense is your outstanding junior running back, Matthew Salazar. We can look at the numbers. He's almost 1,300-yard rusher this year, 13 touchdowns. He's really been the guy that drives your offense. But as the guy who gets to see him every day in practice, what is it about Matthew Salazar that sets him apart?
And people have asked me about Matthew time and time again. And I've always said, he's the best kid that I've ever been around. This is year 13 for me, in coaching and teaching, and he's literally the best kid, hardworking kid. His work ethic is second to none. His attitude is outstanding, and he kind of has pushed the program the past 3 years, because he started for us as a freshman. So he's kind of been, that guy for us, that leader and the voice that keeps the group together and has kept the group fighting. A lot of wins that we had last year, his sophomore year, he was responsible for, because he'd break away, the last couple minutes and we'd score to go up and win. So he definitely has a lot of respect within the team, within the community, and things like that. But he's an outstanding kid, and the hardest working kid I've ever been around.
The other guy who's kind of the straw that stirs drink on your offense is your quarterback, Toby Carodi. This is a guy, a senior, who I don't think the numbers are going to blow you away, because you guys aren't a team that airs the ball out all that much. You're a pretty balanced offense. But how important is he as a senior on a team that relies on a lot of underclassmen? How important is he to what you guys do?
Toby this is his first year starting. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of, he's a senior, and he's kind of gotten the nod for 1 year. But he does a really good job of managing the offense. His dad was, Toby Carodi Sr. He played at Harlan. He was a big standout in high school, had a shot with the Arizona Cardinals back in the day. So, the pedigree is definitely there. So he understands the game really, really well. And he does a great job managing the game. He's also one of those, those senior leaders that, has stepped up in this role and has done a tremendous job with the kids and with the offense. So, he's the kind of kid that wants to watch film. He wants to, know what coverages they're in, so that he knows where to go with the ball. So, he has definitely played a tremendous role in what we've done this year. And the stats that my SA have, he's actually like 1160 in passing yards. Mm-hmm. So he's thrown over 1,000 yards already, and Matthew's 1350, 1340. So Matthew's over 1,300, and Toby's over 1,000. But the stats are off with my SA. Mm. So
he has been,
but yeah, he's done a great job.
He has been terrific for you guys, and this is a team that obviously is going to be excited about tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Gustafson Stadium. You guys take on San Antonio Harlan, Northside Harlan, one of the newer programs there in the San Antonio area. I don't want to ask you to give away your game plan, but when you take a look at what you guys are up against tomorrow with the Hawks, what do you see?
They're super talented. They're really well coached. So I think they do a good job with what they do. Speed-wise, we played Wagner, Converse Wagner, and then we play Veterans Memorial. So they're Judson schools, out of the Judson School District. So we've seen the speed. Mm-hmm. We've seen the speed that Harlan has. So if we can just play our game, not turn the ball over, I think we're going to be okay. We have to play our best game tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. In order to have a chance to win, we have to play our best game. So is it impossible? No. I don't think it's impossible, but we have to do things on our part to, possess the ball, keep the chains moving, and make tackles. That's going to be a big key tomorrow night is making tackles and making sure we're in our right gaps defensively.
We're talking with Phil Barron, the head coach at San Antonio Burbank here on Texas Football Today. Coach, finally, this is there are jobs out there that are just a job, and then for you, this is a different situation. You're a guy who grew up in that part of town. You're a guy who went to South San, and you're familiar with that neighborhood, that area. What does it mean to you personally to be able to take a program in that part of the city and help them get back to the playoffs?
Yeah, this is where I'm from. Mm-hmm. This is the area that I grew up in, so I can relate to these kids very, very well. So, initially taking this job as the offensive coordinator coming from Madison High School, Northeast School District here in San Antonio, obviously it was a drop-off in numbers and different things like that. And kind of what intrigued me to take this job was the lack of success that this program has had in the future, or in the past. And, I kind of sat back and thought, if I can take this position and if I could just get us into the playoffs, win a few games, because they were 0-10, 0-10, 1-9 before I got here. Mm-hmm. So maybe I can make a name for myself in the coaching world and, and possibly get a head job somewhere. Well, after 1 year, I ended up becoming the head coach here at Burbank High School. We had gotten into the playoffs my first year as the offense coordinator. And I just got the kids to buy into, winning mindset and making them believe that, losing wasn't okay. It's not okay to lose anymore and to, kind of be mediocre and being content. So, we kind of brought that winning attitude, that winning culture with myself and my staff when we got here. And the kids just, bought into it. We're real big on TTP, and that means trust the process. So we preach that to our kids, and we tell our kids, trust the process, and they've really bought into that, and trust is kind of what we're doing here, and I think the success that we've had has kind of showed where the direction our program is going.
The Burbank Bulldogs are back in the playoffs, just the 10th time in program history. It's going down 7:30 p.m. Friday night at Gustafson Stadium in San Antonio as they take on the San Antonio Harlan Hawks with their coach, Phil Barron. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on all your success so far, and go get them tomorrow night.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys' support.
There he goes, Phil Barron, the head coach, the Burbank Bulldogs, joining us here on Texas Football Today. Easy to root for a team like that. That's a cool story. And before they made the playoffs in 2017, 2013, 2008, and before 2008 they had missed the playoffs for 30 straight years. This is a program in San Antonio that you look up and down their history. It's riddled with a lot of winless seasons. It's riddled with a lot of 0-10 seasons. It's riddled with a lot of one-win seasons, right? 2-win seasons. Overall, their overall record coming into this year was 251, 549, and 19. This is a program that, when you talk about San Antonio, you're talking about Judson, you're talking about Steele, you're talking about all these kind of powerhouses. Mm-hmm. Burbank doesn't come up. And so it's such a cool thing to see this program get back to the playoffs and those kids playing some meaningful football
at
tonight.
The hand of a 14-year-old kicker. Can you that's enough kicker. To make you have to get high blood pressure medicine because that's crazy.
14-year-old kicker. 14-year-old kicker, no timeouts. Everything about that. By the way, Coach Barron's just 35. This is a young guy.
That is just awesome.
It is a really, really cool story there in San Antonio, Burbank. We appreciate Coach Phil Barron hopping on with us.